Hey there, good morning. Welcome to Mornings in the Word with Bold Faith Church. I am Vina Henry, and today is day 237 of our chronological reading of the Bible. Today we'll be reading from the book of Lamentations, chapter 1 to 3. And chapter 3, we're reading from verse 1 to 36. Um, Before we get into the reading, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and share because sharing is caring. Um, we are here from every Monday through Friday for the chronological reading of the Bible. And then we get together on a Saturday for a teaching sermon from Pastor Courage Molina. After that sermon, we get together in a Zoom call and just discuss the chapter that Pastor Courage has given her teaching on. We would love to have you there. So join us on a Saturday at 8 a.m. EST. I think that's all. I think that's all I want to share with you right now. Yeah, yeah, let's get into the reading. It says, Jerusalem, once so full of people, is now deserted. She who was once great among the nation now sits alone like a widow. Once the queen of all the earth, she is now a slave. She sobs through the night, tears streaming down her cheeks. Among all her lovers, there is no one left to comfort her. All her friends have betrayed her and become her enemies. Judah has been laid away into captivity, oppressed with cruel slavery. She lives among foreign nations and have no place of rest. Her enemies have chased her down, and she has nowhere to turn. The road of Jerusalem are in mourning, for crowds no longer come to celebrate the festivals. The city gates are silent. Her priests groan, her young women are crying. How bitter is her fate! Her oppressors have become her masters, and her enemies prosper. For the Lord has punished Jerusalem for her many sins. Her children have been captured and taken away to distant lands. All the majesty of beautiful Jerusalem has been stripped away. Her princes are like starving deer searching for pasture. They are too weak to run from the pursuing enemy. In the midst of her sadness and wandering, Jerusalem remembers her ancient splendor. But now she has fallen to her enemy, and there is no one to help her. Her enemy struck her down and laughed as she fell. Jerusalem has sinned greatly. So she has been tossed away like a filthy rag. All who once honored her now despise her, for they have seen her stripped naked and humiliated. All she can do is groan and hide her face. She defiled herself with immorality and gave no thought to her future. Now she lies in the gutter with no one to lift her out. Lord, see my misery, she cries. The enemy has triumphed. The enemy has plundered her completely, taking every precious thing she owns. She has seen foreigners violate her sacred temples, the place the Lord has forbidden them to enter. Her people groan as they search for bread. They have sold their treasures for food to stay alive. O Lord, look, she mourns, and see how I am despised. Does it mean nothing to you? All you who pass by, look around and see if there is any suffering like mine, which the Lord brought on me when he erupted his fierce anger. He has sent fire from heaven that burns in my bones. He has placed a trap in my path and turned me back. He has left me devastated, racked with sickness all day long. He wove my sins into ropes to hitch me to a yoke of captivity. The Lord sapped my strength and turned me over to my enemies. I am helpless in their hands. The Lord has treated my mighty men with contempt. At this command, a great an- at his command, a great army has come to crush my young warriors. The Lord has trampled his beloved city, like grapes are trampled in the winepress. For all these things I weep. Tears flow down my cheeks. No one is here to comfort me. Any who might encourage me are far away. My children have no future, for the enemy has conquered us. Jerusalem reaches out for help, but no one comforts her. Regarding his people Israel, the Lord has said, let their neighbors be their enemies. Let them be thrown away like a filthy rag. The Lord is right, Jerusalem says, for I rebelled against him. Listen, people everywhere, look upon my anguish and despair, for my sons and daughters have been taken captive to distant lands. I begged my allies for help, but they betrayed me. My priests and leaders starved to death in the city, even as they search for food to save their lives. Lord, see my anguish. My heart is broken, and my soul despairs. For I have rebelled against you. In the streets the sword kills, and at home there is only death. Others heard my groans, but no one turned to comfort me. When my enemies heard about my troubles, they were happy to see had what you had done. Oh, bring the day you promised, when they will suffer as I have suffered. Look at all their evil deeds, Lord. Punish them as you have punished me. For all my sins, my groans are many, and I am sick at heart. The Lord, in his anger, has cast a dark shadow over beautiful Jerusalem. The fairest of Israel's cities lie in the dust, thrown down from the heights of heaven. In his day of great anger, the Lord has shown no mercy, even to his temple. Without mercy, the Lord has destroyed every home in Israel. In his anger, he has broken down the fortress walls of beautiful Jerusalem. He has brought them to the ground, dishonoring the kingdom and its rulers. All the strength of Israel vanishes beneath his fierce anger. The Lord has withdrawn his protection as the enemy attacks. He consumes the whole land of Israel like a raging fire. He bends his bow against his people as though he were their enemy. His strength is used against them to kill their finest youth. His fury is poured out like fire on beautiful Jerusalem. Yes, the Lord has vanquished Israel like an enemy. He has destroyed her palaces and demolished her fortresses. He has brought unending sorrow and tears upon the beautiful Jerusalem. He has broken down his temple as though it were merely a garden shelter. The Lord has blotted out all memory of the holy festivals and Sabbath days. Kings and priests fall together before his fierce anger. The Lord has rejected his own altar. He despises his own sanctuary. He has given Jerusalem palaces. He has given Jerusalem's palaces to her enemies. They shout in the Lord's temple as though it were a day of celebration. The Lord was determined to destroy the walls of beautiful Jerusalem. He made careful plans for their destruction, then did what he had planned. Therefore, the ramparts and walls have fallen down before him. Jerusalem's gates have sunk into the ground. He has smashed their locks and bars. Her kings and princes have been exiled to distant lands. Her laws have ceased to exist. Her prophets receive no more visions from the Lord. The leaders of beautiful Jerusalem sit on the ground in silence. They are clothed in burlap and throw dust on their heads. The young women of Jerusalem hang their heads in shame. I have cried until the tears no longer come. My heart is broken. My spirit is poured out in agony as I see the desperate plight of my people. Little children and tiny babies are fainting and dying in the streets. They cry out to their mothers, we need food and drink. Their lives ebb away in the streets. Like the life of a warrior wounded in battle, they gasp for life as they collapse in their mother's arms. What can I say about you? Who has ever seen such sorrow? O daughter of Jerusalem, to what can I compare your anguish? O virgin daughter of Zion, how can I comfort you? For your wound is as deep as the sea. Who can heal you? Your prophets have said so many foolish things, false to the core. They did not save you from exile by pointing out your sins. Instead, they painted false pictures, filling you with false hope. All who pass by jeer at you. They scoff and insult beautiful Jerusalem, saying, "Is this the city called most beautiful in all the world and the joy of all the earth?" All your enemies mock you. They scoff and snarl and say, "We have destroyed her at last. We have long awaited for this day, and it is finally here." But it is the Lord who did just as he planned. He has fulfilled the promise of disaster he made long ago. He has destroyed Jerusalem without mercy. He has caused her enemies to gloat over her and has given them power over her. Cry aloud before the Lord. O walls of beautiful Jerusalem, let your tears flow like a river, day and night. Give yourselves to rest. Give your eyes no relief. Rise during the night and cry out. Pour out your hearts like water to the Lord. Lift up your hands to him in prayer. Plead for your children, for in every street they are faint with hunger. O Lord, think about this. Should you treat your own people this way? Should mothers eat their own children, those they once bounced on their knees? Should priests and prophets be killed within the Lord's temple? See them lay in the streets, young and old, boys and girls, killed by the sword of the enemy. You have killed them in your anger, slaughtered them without mercy. You have invited terror from all around, as though you were calling them to a day of feasting. In the day of the Lord's anger, no one has escaped or survived. The enemy has killed all the children whom I carried and raised. I am the one who has seen the afflictions that come from the rod of the Lord's anger. He has led me into darkness, shutting out all light. He has turned his hand against me again and again all day long. He has made my skin and flesh grow old. He has broken my bones. He has besieged and surrounded me with anguish and distress. He has buried me in a dark place like those long dead. He has walled me in, and I cannot escape. He has bounded me in heavy chains. And though I cried and shouted, he has shut out my prayers. He has blocked my way with a high stone wall. He has made my road crooked. He has hidden like a bear or a lion waiting to attack me. He has dragged me off the path and torn me in pieces, leaving me helpless and devastated. He has drawn his bow and made me the target for his arrows. He shot his arrow deep into my heart. My own people laugh at me. All day long they sing their mocking songs. He has filled me with bitterness and given me a bitter cup of sorrow to drink. He has made me chew on gravel. He has rolled me in the dust. Peace has been stripped away, and I have forgotten what prosperity is. I cry out, my splendor is gone. Everything I had hoped for from the Lord is lost. The thought of my suffering and homelessness is bitter beyond words. I will never forget this awful time as I grieve over my loss. Yet I still dare to hope when I remember this. The faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercy never ceases. Great is his faithfulness. His mercy begins afresh every morning. I say to myself, the Lord is my inheritance. Therefore, I hope in him. Isn't that beautiful? I have to pause and read that part again. This is verse 19, right? No, verse 22. It says, after saying all of this, right, in the midst of suffering, in the midst of looking back and seeing all that has been lost, but also recognizing all that has been lost is because of their disobedience, right? He turns around and says, the faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercy never ceases. Great is his faithfulness. His mercy begins afresh every morning. I say to myself, the Lord is my inheritance. Therefore, I will hope in him. Who is God? in the midst of all the terrible things, in the midst of trial and tribulation, all the difficult things. That's the truth we hold on to, that the Lord is faithful, that He is merciful. His mercies are new each day, right? Great is His faithfulness, and He is our hope and our comfort and our strength. So it doesn't matter what we're going through, doesn't even matter why. If we keep our eyes on the Lord and remember who He is, we will gain strength. We will gain direction, right? That verse alone, in all that I've read, has just jumped out at me. The Lord is good to those who depend on Him, to those who search for Him. So it is good to wait quietly for salvation from the Lord. And it is good for some to submit at an early age to the yoke of His discipline. Let them sit alone in silence beneath the Lord's demands. Let them lie face down in the dust, for there may be hope at last. Let them turn the other cheek to those who strike them and accept the insults of the enemy. For no one is abandoned by the Lord forever. For no one is abandoned by the Lord forever. Though He brings grief, He also shows compassion. Because of the greatness of His unfailing love, for He does not enjoy hurting His people or causing them sorrow. If people crush underfoot all the prisoners of the land, if they deprive others of their rights in defiance of the Most High, if they twist justice in the courts, doesn't the Lord see all these things? Listen, listen. The Lord is good. He is faithful. It doesn't matter what we're going through. It doesn't matter who's doing it to us. Um, Even when the Lord is the one who has to punish or discipline, we know that He is faithful. And when He disciplines, He takes no joy in it. But He loves us and He disciplines those He loves. And we know it will not last forever, right? Um, well, this is it. We ended at verse 36. And so, till the next reading, that is it for now. Go on and have a good day. Till next time. Bye.